wasting your time, and I'm so sorry. Hey guys, it's me, Ben. I watched. I did a Doctor Who marathon from 2009, 2020 until this isn't going to say this year, April, whenever the Legends of the Sea Devils was on, because that isn't in this ranking that I have on my phone. Because I thought it would be funny not to include it, because the only reason I really made this ranking was so that I could put a video up of it, so that it's easier for me. And I know that whenever I watch this in the future, it'll annoy me that I went all the way up to Legend of the Sea Devils and didn't include it. So it won't be in here. There is a total of 296 I've got, because I have included Trial of a Time Lord as one, obviously, and I also, despite what the BBC say, have included the Monk trilogy as one, even though they have it as 3 separate stories, which, you know, you can think of it like that. I get it, because it's written by different people, but it's the same story. I don't know, like Mind Robber goes into, or the Dominators goes into Mind Robber, and that isn't, then the Mind Robber doesn't feel like it's the same story, but to me the Monk one does, so I don't think it's enough that it's like, oh well, you know, it's not just because it's linking, it's not just because it's literally like the next day, it's because it's the same thing. Anyway, I've rambled about that for a long time. I don't know if I'm doing this in parts. I don't want to. But, you know, it depends on what that little clock down there says. 2 minutes and 47 at the moment. But I shut the window, so it's probably shorter on YouTube. Anyway, let's start. Number 296, closing time, as would be obvious if you have seen any video that I put up, because I put up a video about closing time. It's one of the only ones I've done. 295, In the Forest of the Night. That's a bad one. That's one that that's my friend Joe's least favourite. I showed him that one when we lived together in Leeds, and he didn't like that. It is bad. It's horrible. It's bad script. The bit that stood out to me when I watched it the first time, and every single time since, is the bit where Clara says to the Doctor, they're not actually special, you know. Or something like that. They're not actually gifted, I don't know. Whatever she says, but there are actual people who are going to be in classes that have the same sort of name as that. And she is completely discounting them. To me, anyway. That's what it always felt like to me. I have never actually heard anyone say that they watched that episode and it made them feel bad, so I guess maybe it didn't. Maybe it's not real. But it was certainly how I always assumed that it would be picked up. Number 294, Orphan 55. Not a lot to say about that one at all, actually. 293, Time Lash. I was going to do a video about this. I love Time Lash. It is my least favourite of the classic series, but it's probably the classic Doctor Who that I've watched the most. One thing that really struck me about when I was watching it again this time is it starts off really well. It starts off really well, I think. Well, maybe not really well, but it starts off well. And it seems like it's a story that's going to be good. And then it just doesn't ever become good. And in fact, it becomes very bad indeed. And I love it so much. The Third Doctor behind the wall. What more do you really need to see? Number 292, The Horns of Nimon. I don't remember really anything about The Horns of Nimon. 291, The Space Pirates. I, again, don't remember a lot about The Space Pirates. I watched the loose cannon reconstruction. I'm going to listen to it again just because I have the ability. Do I have the ability? If I have the ability, I will one day listen to it again, whether I have the ability now or not. Anyway, or I suppose not listen to it again. Well, I did hear it the first time, but Anyway, who cares? 200 at 290. The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. This is a stinker. This is a stinker. Boy, oh boy. I don't actually really remember a lot about it, to be honest with you. I remember that they go to Androzani. It's on Androzani Minor. What that really means, other than just a little Easter egg, I don't know. Which, you know, if you enjoyed that, then good. You know, I didn't enjoy it, but, you know, it doesn't do anything for me. But, you know, if it does for you, good for you. If you're wondering about my t-shirt, by the way, as I think I said earlier in the video, this is just for me, really. So I already know what this is, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it's a Comedy Bang Bang t-shirt of Harris Whittles. Where was I? 289. Underworld. Don't remember anything about this one either. Going to skip over that. 288. The Shakespeare Code. Well, that's 2 Gareth Roberts on this end of the spectrum. And I think that, you know, we'll get to where the others are, but you can probably see basically what I think of Gareth Roberts' writing at this point. The Shakespeare Code is bad. I wasn't expecting it to be as low as it was. I don't remember a lot about it now, but I remember really, really not enjoying that one at all. There's the political correctness line. It's just, I don't know, there's something... It's not just because Gareth Roberts is a transphobe. He is a horrible, horrible man. But before I knew anything about him, his were the episodes I liked the least. So, yeah, you can guess maybe where he's going. I don't mind his Sarah Jane Adventures stuff, to be fair to the man. But it's not amazing. But it's better than his Doctor Who stuff. Anyway, 287, The Snowmen. That's the one in Victorian London with Ian McKellen. Ian McKellen guest stars in that one, and what a waste. My goodness, what a waste. And also a waste of Richard E. Grant as well, but he was wasted a few more times than that, so I guess that's a bit, maybe more of a waste, but I'd argue Ian McKellen is, he's a bigger pull, definitely, and what a waste. What a bloody waste. 286 is, once again, Gareth Roberts, The Unicorn and the Wasp. This one, this was a bad one. There's one part that really, really irked me with this one, and it was where the wasp, Donna sees the wasp and it flies into the door, and then the stinger comes off, and then she brings the Doctor in and she goes, well, at least it won't be able to hurt anyone else now that its stinger's gone. And the Doctor goes, creature that size, it'll be able to grow another one. Creature that size, it'll be able to grow another one? I'm probably about maybe as big as that wasp. It's maybe a little bit bigger than me, but if I lost my leg, it's not growing back just because of my size. That line really did a number on me. I also matched with a lady on Tinder who said that that was her favourite episode. And, you know, I think I replied nicely. I said that I wasn't a fan. I don't really like Gareth Roberts. But my friends like that episode, so I'm sure there's something more there, and maybe it's my bias. And then she never responded again, so I'm guessing that she was a relative of Gareth Roberts, probably his niece. 285, Praxius. It should have been Autons, I guess, but that would have just made a bad Autons episode. So I guess it's probably good it wasn't Autons, but it seemed like maybe. 284, Dinosaurs on a Spaceship. Yeah. Well, that's... Oh no, Chris Chibnall did write Orphan 55, so it's not the first. Did he? I think he did. I could look it up, but I also don't care. Anyway, Dinosaurs on the Spaceship he did write for definite, and he didn't do a great job of that one. It's not awful. See, we're only at 284, and it's already not awful. Dinosaurs on a Spaceship isn't the worst, but I can't, when I'm thinking about it, the only thing I'm really ever thinking about is the golf ball thing, and that is not a, sorry, I was just moving the mouse so it didn't go to sleep. The golf ball thing is, it's just 283 is Delta and the Bannermen. Before I would have started this marathon, I'd have assumed that there would be a much lower Sylvester, like Sylvester McCoy would first appear, his story much lower on the list, but that's not bad. I don't know why I'd have felt like that. I don't dislike Sylvester McCoy. I just don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the 80s Doctor Who stuff, really, and I just thought, yeah, I dislike. But to be fair, Delta and the Bannermen, I already had said Dinosaurs on a Spaceship was not awful, and Delta and the Bannermen is above that. So you know, we're at a good point, I would say. Although the next one is 282 Time Flight, and that one is very bad. So that Delta and the Bannermen is below that is kind of not a good sign. Worth at this point, I guess, mentioning how I created this list. Probably should have done this at the start, but who cares? Basically, I watched through and I rated each one out of 10. Then I put them all on the list, and when I got to them, I'd look at the list, see where that number was, put it in that group, and then I'd be like, do I like, for example, where were we? Do I like Delta and the Bannermen more than Time Flight from memory? I guess I didn't. Interesting. And then do I like Dinosaurs on a Spaceship? So, for example, I have moved the numbers off here now. So, but for say for example, Delta and the Bannermen, Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, and Praxeus all were 3 out of 10. I'd be like, do I prefer Praxeus? You get it anyway, who cares? But that's how I did it. So I will disagree with a lot of this list also, actually. So it doesn't really mean anything other than just a little bit of fun. Time Flight, not very good. 281, Let's Kill Hitler. It's a bad one, isn't it, that one? That's a bad one. That's a particularly bad one. You know, because why would you go to Nazi Germany and then do a story about River Song? A not even good story about River Song. 280 is The Caretaker, another Gareth Roberts stinker. See, I was saying nice things kind of about Delta and the Bannermen and Dinosaurs on the Spaceship, but The Caretaker's above that somehow. Somehow The Caretaker is above both of those. It isn't good. Gareth Roberts script, and I think that Closing Time, I actually can't remember. I don't know. Where are we now? 280, I think. Oh, and The Lodger as well, which I haven't mentioned. Love Saves the Day. A whole cyber fleet just because he loves his son. Gareth Roberts ends his episodes very poorly. Skovok Blitzer, and I guess it's not from nowhere because he's got the watch, I think, that he's invisible. Oh, I don't know. It's just not good. 279, The Power of 3. Why do they put the cubes everywhere? There's hospitals pulling drawers out that could have had hospital supplies in there, but instead it's full of cubes. Why did they put the cubes everywhere? Why did they do that? 278, Dragonfire, that's got a good cliffhanger where he's hanging from a cliff. And 277 is The Visitation. He loses the sonic screwdriver in that one. And that's it. Pterodactyls. 276, Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS. This is a smelly episode. And then it didn't happen anyway, which I don't care that it didn't happen. That's not a problem, but it is a bit of a problem when it's a bad story that didn't happen. Because it's like, oh, you've wasted my time as well as you're wasting my time. Cool. Anyway, 275, The Web Planet. From what you can see of it, I feel like there's more visibility with the missing episodes sometimes. That's a joke I just thought of, and I thought was funny. And I'm sure if I thought more about it, it could be. And hopefully you enjoyed that. But basically, the joke there is, it's not very visible. 274, The Rings of Akaten. I don't hate this one as much as a lot of people do. It's definitely boring, but it's not, I would say, particularly bad. It's just, you know, the songs are nice, and I liked that it was a place that he'd taken Susan before. That's a nice nod. It might be contradictory to what I said earlier, but I can't really remember what I said earlier, so if it is, I'm a new man now. 274, The Rings of... 273, The Lazarus Experiment. It's not good. 272, The Twin Dilemma, voted, I think, in the 2013 poll, 2014. The worst Doctor Who. I don't really see why. It's just boring. It's just boring. It's just boring. 271, The Name of the Doctor. I remember when this one came out, when it was broadcast for the first time, and it started and then it finished. And to be fair to it, it went quick. It does move at lightning speed somehow, seeing as nothing happens. Feels like the episode starts and finishes and nothing's happened at all. Story-wise and time-wise, because you're like, oh, okay, it's only been a minute or so. I've just watched the title sequence and now John Hurt's here. And it's just boring. Sorry, I'm looking for the next one. And because I didn't finish my sentence, I can't edit this part out. 270, The Robot of Sherwood, or just Robot of Sherwood. It's not good. It's not, is it? It's not good, that one. 269, The Angels Take Manhattan. Oh, I suppose I maybe should say some more about that, just because Amy and Rory left. Amy and Rory left in that one. 268, The Awakening. 267, The Pirate Planet. Don't really remember anything about that one at all. 266, Ghostlight. 265, oh, Ghostlight. For some reason, people love that one. I don't dislike it. It's just, I don't think I get it. I don't remember really anything about it other than it's in a house. And Ace isn't happy that the Doctor took her there. Maybe it's not written well, is also another option, but I think people have said that it is, so I will take their word for it rather than my own. 265, The Underwater Menace. 264, Sleep No More. That's a nice rhyme. 263, The Bells of St. John. 262, The Crimson Horror. 261, The Return of Dr. Mysterio. I wanted to save that one to be the last ever Doctor Who that I watched. I didn't watch it for a long time. Then in 2018, my friend Alex made me watch it, and it was, it's 261. 260, The Woman Who Lived. Yeah, that one happened. 259, Listen. A lot of people will love that one. Don't get that at all. Do not get that at all. 258, Twice Upon a Time. I get it. I don't, but I know that other people do, so they get it. Other people get it for me, the sexism of the First Doctor. I can't imagine William Hartnell saying that thing about aren't all women made of glass. I can't, those words don't come out of his mouth for me. I don't think that the way to make up for previous mistakes that we as a society did make is to throw those mistakes in our face now, as if they're funny. 257, Revenge of the Cybermen. Not a huge fan. 256, The Time Monster. I absolutely love the bit where Benton turns into a baby, but I don't remember anything else about that at all. I'm sorry if my dog's barking in the background, but she just won't stop, so there's not even any point of trying to pretend that I can just wait. 255, yeah, Heaven Sent, that's the one with where he's on his own, and yeah, people say a lot that it's good because he's really good on his own, and it is good. He's good. He is really good, but the episode isn't. The episode isn't good slightly. Well, maybe slightly, because it's 255 rather than 296, but he does a lot, Peter Capaldi does a lot of the work for that, and I think that people give it too much credit, personally. But, as I have said with everything else before, if you did get something out of that, then that's great for you. I wish you were me, or I wish I were you. Yeah, no, definitely I wish I were you, because if you were me, then you just dislike things for the sake of it, probably. 254, Silver Nemesis. 253, The Celestial Toymaker. This is the only one that I didn't actually watch for my marathon because I had watched it for the first time about a month or two before I started. I watched the reconstruction and I wasn't a big fan of it. 252, Victory of the Daleks. 251, Nightmare in Silver. That's a shame, isn't it? I love the Put Me Down, I Hate You. I love that. 250, Hyde. I haven't really got any problem with Hyde at all. It's not a great ending, but it's not a horrible beginning or middle. 249, Terminus. I don't really remember much about that one, but I think it has Aunt Mabel in, if I'm correct. It's the first appearance of Aunt Mabel, where she also appeared in Closing Time, in case you were wondering. Aunt Mabel, of course, from Come Outside. 248, Mark of the Rani. The Mark of the Rani, I'm not a huge fan of that sort of setting. Like, it just doesn't do anything for me. I think my eyes just think it's very boring to look at and I switch off a bit. So I don't remember a lot about the Mark of the Rani. Every time I watch it, I just can't retain that very well. It's nice to see that bit where Colin's going down the hill. That's a good cliffhanger. And there's also, because it's two parts, there's the bit where Colin is gonna either fall down the well or get pushed down the well. I can't really remember, but he's like hanging off the well. And it feels so much like it wants to be a cliffhanger, but it isn't, because it's just two parts. So I guess I do remember bits about Mark of the Rani. 247, Planet of the Giants. This is great looking, especially for 1964. The sets and everything are amazing. Yeah, that it looks great, but I guess it's at whatever, I can't find where it was. 247. I guess it's at 247 because it is a bit boring, maybe. 246, Warrior's Gate. I guess we're at the point in the list where it's just a lot of boring episodes for me. 245, Warriors of the Deep. Yep. 244, The Wedding of River Song. It's not horrible. I don't love this one because I'm not a huge River Song fan. I just think after Silence of the Library and Forest of the Dead, if that's in the right order, I don't know, I feel like her story was hurried up. The Wedding of River Song is the kind of, I believe that's the like culmination of her story, isn't it? If I'm correct in that, it sort of, I don't know, it was rushed over the Matt Smith era, and it just really ruined the character. Yeah, it should have just been a character that we saw the one time. That would have been so much better. 243, 42. Should have been 242 probably, but I guess it wasn't as good as The Time of the Doctor, which was 242. I'm okay with that one. I think I preferred it more than I thought I would this time, but it's not lovely. I don't love it, but I like the sneeze regeneration. I don't like the blowing up the Daleks part though, and I guess that's where the main regeneration came out, so I guess the sneeze is really part of that, but I like the sneeze regeneration. 241, An Unearthly Child. The first ever Doctor Who story. The first ever episode is great. I really, really love the first ever episode, but the story it's attached to is not very good. It's a bit, as I say before with the rest, boring. Say it with me. I'm not going to say it again. I will say it again. 240, Nightmare of Eden. Don't remember much about that. 239, The Magician's Apprentice and The Witch's Familiar. Davros crying really irks me. It feels too high on this list from memory, but I guess that's how I was feeling when I watched it, so maybe I'm wrong now. But it feels too high. Why is that how that one went? You know? 238, Night Terrors. 237, Last Christmas. 236, Hell Bent. The one with Gallifrey. 235, The Seeds of Death. 234, The Edge of Destruction. 233, The Claws of Axos. I watched that one again the other day, and I would now put it much higher in the list. I think I really liked it the other day when I watched it. I don't actually know why it's so low. I guess maybe I wasn't paying attention. Probably I was just playing on my phone. and I wasn't focused. But when I watched it the other day, I really liked it. So probably now it would be much higher on the list. Definitely it wouldn't be in the 200s. I'd be surprised, to be completely honest with you, if it made it into the triple digits at all. As I say, will disagree with this list. And it doesn't mean anything. So, you know, please don't get mad at me because I can't handle it. 232, Colony in Space. I don't remember a lot about this one. I feel like if I paid more attention, it'd probably be higher because I've heard good things, other people saying good things about it. I just think it's not a great, like, it's so quarry-ish, and I know a lot of them are quarry-ish, but it's not that that's a word. If you don't know what that word means, it doesn't mean anything at all, so don't worry. But yeah, it looks a bit too much like a quarry for me. That one there. 231, The Chase. I don't remember a lot about The Chase, to be completely honest with you, but I do really like the cliffhanger of episode 1 where the Dalek is struggling to get up from the sand, like it's pulling itself up through the sand and it's making groan noises like That's great, because why would it be doing that? 230, The Black Orchid, or just Black Orchid, sorry. 229, The Sensorites. 228, The Savages. 227, A Good Man Goes to War. Maybe that. No, because obviously oh, I've got a sweat patch, that's nice. Obviously the Wedding of River Song is going to be after that, but maybe A Good Man Goes to War is that's where you find out that River Song is Amy and Rory's baby, I think, isn't it? Which is a thing. It's certainly the way the story's told. I don't disagree or agree with it. It just is what happens. 226, The Ghost Monument. 225. Oh, The Ghost Monument is bad. I don't know why I felt like interrupting my next one just to say that, but The Ghost Monument is bad. 225, The Reign of Terror. 224, The Saranga Conundrum. 223, The Mask of Mandragora. 222, The Doctor's Daughter. 221, The Eaters of Light. Rona Munro wrote that one. That's about as interesting as that gets. She, by the way, wrote Survival, the last story of the classic series, so that's why it's worthy of mention. Also, I believe she's quite a... that doesn't seem like a... I was going to say quite a good playwright. It doesn't really seem like a compliment, but I heard that her plays are quite good, which is kind of the same thing, but sounds nicer to me. 220, Fury from the Deep. I watched this before the animation came out, or at the very least before I had the opportunity to watch the animation. So I watched it as reconstruction. I wasn't a huge fan. It's the first appearance of the Sonic Screwdriver, and I missed that because it was a reconstruction. But also I just missed that happening because I wasn't paying full attention, I guess, at that point. So definitely I would benefit from watching the animation, which I still haven't actually watched all the way through. I think I watched 3 parts not paying attention, and that was months and months ago. So, you know, I should probably go back to that one, and I probably will. 219, The Invisible Enemy, first appearance of K9. 218, The Space Museum. It's got a really great first episode and a really fine rest. 217, The Romans. 216, The Massacre. 215, Paradise Towers. 214, The Idiot's Lantern. 213, The Zygon Invasion, The Zygon Inversion. 212, Time and the Rani. It was better than I thought. 212 is a pretty good score, I'd say, for Time and the Rani, because I thought that was gonna be the one when I mentioned earlier Sylvester McCoy that's much lower but it wasn't. 211, Fear Her is also higher than I thought that it would be, but you know, it's not a horrible episode. Fear Her, I thought that was going to be a pretty bad one, but it wasn't when I rewatched it. All of Series 2, actually. I wasn't keen on Series 2 at all, but all of Series 2 was, I think, a little bit better than I thought from memory, but it was not as good as I'd hoped, because I'd watched some of them a few years ago and I was really excited. I watched Tooth and Claw a few years ago and I watched New Earth and I really liked both of them. I just had a mare with a dog barking outside, ruining everything that I was saying, so I've kind of a little bit lost my thread, but I think what I was saying was I was very excited to watch Doctor Who. I was very excited to watch Series 2, rather, because I thought that it would be almost complete reappraisal of those episodes. And it wasn't. 210, Tooth and Claw, as I had previously mentioned. Unfortunately, it wasn't as good as when I watched it a few years ago, I thought. 209, The Lodger, that's a pretty high one for a Gareth Roberts, I'd say. I think that possibly is the highest that he gets. You might be able to predict that I'm wrong. But at the moment, I'm thinking that I'm right. It's not a good one. It's the first one with Craig Owens. It's got James Corden in it. 208, State of Decay. It's the East Base Trilogy Pirates. Not pirates, vampires. East Base Trilogy Vampires episode or story. And I quite like that one, actually. 207, The Crusade. It's got Julian Glover in it, I believe. You know, good job, Julian. 206, Image of the Fendal. I don't remember a lot about that. 205, Daleks in Manhattan / Evolution of the Daleks. 204, Planet of Evil. 203, Death to the Daleks. Death to the Daleks is fine. 202, The Mythmakers. I remember nothing about The Mythmakers. Somehow it's at 202 and I have no memory whatsoever. I'm sure there'll be much higher ones that I have less memory of. 201, The Ark. I like Dodo giving them all the cold. That's nice. That's a nice touch. I don't remember it going where I would like it to go. I'm sure it probably goes somewhere. I don't remember where it goes, but I'm sure I probably I'm sure I probably think I'm smart enough to fix it. But whether I am or not is probably not whether I am about that. I probably am not. 200, Mission to the Unknown, the kind of prelude to Dalek's Master Plan. I don't remember a lot about Mission to the Unknown. It's just one episode. 200 is a fair place to put it, I guess, considering it. I guess it's just one episode, so that's quite good. But then at the same time, it is only one episode, so there's not a second episode to come along and ruin it. Just like there is with 199, The King's Demons. I just say that because it's a two-parter. I actually don't think I enjoy either of those ones. 198, Doctor Who, the TV movie. Yeah, it's good. We're in good territory now, I think. We're at 200, and we're, I think, now in good territory. Probably there'll be a few that are boring, but I'm just not very creative with the words and vocabulary that I use. I have a large one, and I don't like to use it very often, because I don't know why. 197, The Long Game, is, as you can tell, my least favourite of Series 1, which isn't to say it's bad, it's just boring. 196, Army of Ghosts / Doomsday. I'm less of a fan of this one than a lot of people. I'm not a huge fan of Rose and the Doctor in Series 2, and this does wrap their story up, but it's not a story I care about, really, so yeah. 195, I like her in Series 1, by the way. I think Rose is a good character in Series 1. I just think the dynamic between David Tennant and Billie Piper is good, but they have too much chemistry. It's a little bit annoying. As my brother said previously, it's like watching two people having an inside joke that you're not in on, and I think I've said that to one of my friends, and he said, but that's good, because it feels real. And sure, it feels real, but it's still a joke being told to me that I'm not supposed to get. So, 195, Arachnids in the UK. 194, The Battle of Ranskoor Av Kolos. It's got quite a bad rap, that one, and I can see why. 193, The Ice Warriors. 192, The Stolen Earth and Journey's End. I used to really like, actually, that one. But then my nephew made me watch it over and 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 over. And so now it's just, I have seen it so many times, and I just have, I'm just at that point now where it's like everything that's bad about it is what I notice, because I already spent years noticing the good stuff, and I've run out of that. And I guess the bad stuff was, there was a well of bad stuff that I was ignoring, and now it's tainted it for me. I'm sure there's probably more good stuff, but I focused on that too early. Whoops. 191, Ascension of the Cybermen and the Timeless Children. It's fine. 190, The Day of the Doctor. This I feel like would be a lot higher possibly on other people's lists. I know that in 2014 the Doctor Who magazine poll had it at number 1, which seems crazy, but I guess that's just because of the bias of the fact that it had just come out. I think it's a little bit boring, and I'm trying to read through the novelization at the moment as well, but I think I'm finding it a bit annoying. The chapters where it's the Doctor like delivering a message or something, I just find it so irritating. So I don't think I'm going to bother finishing that. And I'm not. The episode is good. That's it, as far as I'm concerned. I've watched it with somebody who found a lot more enjoyment than I did through it, and that's great for them. Great for you if you did as well. When I saw it in the cinema, I did, and if I could feel like that every time that I watch it, I think it would be a great episode. But I just think that it falls into that sort of, multi-Doctor slump where it's like we've got to give these people all something to do as the main character, but there's actually only one main character, but it is the other people as well, and it's like, it's just, it never feels great. There's a Big Finish audiobook or audio drama called The Arrangement, no, not The Arrangements for War, called Project. I can't remember. I can't be able to look it up either, but it's the one, if you can Google it, it's Project something. It's like the last of the Project series, and it's got Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy in it, and that, in my opinion, is the best multi-Doctor story. I don't want to say how it all works, but I think that it's the best way to do a multi-Doctor story personally, and I would definitely recommend listening to it. I'm sorry that I don't have the full title, but I also don't really care. 189, The Mind of Evil. 188, Horror of Fang Rock. 187, The Vampires of Venice. 186, Four to Doomsday. 185, Mordred Undead. 184, The Reboss Operation. 183, The Androids of Tara. Did I say that? Androids, yeah. Androids of Tara. 182, Arc of Infinity. 181, Deep Breath. Saw that one in the cinema as well. It was nice to see in the cinema. I think that seeing it with a big crowd of people, same as Day of the Doctor, makes it feel very special. But it's just a bit bland, really, that one, Deep Breath. It's just not much for me in that one. 180, I'm sorry I keep flashing this sweat patch, but I keep forgetting it's there, so it's not really my fault. Also, get over it. 180, Knock Knock. 179, Keeper of Traken. That's the first with Nyssa. I remember when I was younger, I remember about 10 years ago, maybe more, like complaining to my mum about Doctor Who written in the 80s, that Nyssa should have been more upset more often when seeing the Master wearing her dad's face. And I do agree with that still, but it was not written even in my lifetime, so what's the point of me considering it even? 178, The Next Doctor. I think that one is good, actually. I think it's got a lot of bad flack, and I don't really understand it, because I like it. I like that one. 177, Logopolis. 176, oh, that's Tom Baker's last one, by the way. I just don't have a lot to say about it. 176, The Curse of Fenric. 175, New Earth. As I said before, I had watched it vaguely recently, within the past few years, and it was a lot better than I thought that it would be, but this time it was exactly what I had originally thought that it would maybe be. Or better than that, I guess, but worse than good. 175, The Beast Below. 173, The Keys of Marinus. Another one which I quite like, actually. Yeah, I think that's quite a good one. I can see why it would be this low down, because I think it's only in memory that I'm like, yeah, actually that's quite good, because I think when watching it is a little bit dull, but it's a good idea. You know, it's a nice idea, and I like the design of the Vord. When the toys of the Vord came out, I really wanted one, but I also didn't want to have to find a place to put it, because I already don't know where to put rubbish. Does that go in the bin? That's supposed to be funny. But it wasn't. 172, Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror. Yep. 171, Smile. It's a good one. Maybe not the best time to talk about Series 10, but I really like Series 10. 170, Love and Monsters. So I have recently been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and one of the symptoms of that is that I'm currently feeling very emotional a lot, which I think is great for watching things. It means I cry at a lot of things. But I used to use that as like if I cried, then I guess it was good, sort of marker. Now I'm guessing I'm crying at everything, because I remember crying at Love and Monsters. I sobbed a little bit at Love and Monsters, but it wasn't good. So I guess I had to change everything that I thought about what meant good and bad from then on. So Love and Monsters is pretty special to me for helping me realise that I'm I guess sensitive. I was going to say broken, but sensitive. 169, The Gunfighters. Yep. No, it is a good one, actually. I was going to say nothing, but I do like that one, and I do want to say I do like that, and I like the narration of music. That's nice as well, like the narration in song. And yeah. 168, The Smugglers. 167, The Wheel in Space. 166, Planet of Fire. 165, The Girl Who Died. 164, The Power of Kroll. 163, Enlightenment. 162, Galaxy 4. 161, The Unquiet Dead, which in my opinion is the one of what would have been a great in my opinion that Christmas. My camera froze, so I stopped for a second, took my hair down, and I also noticed that when the camera does freeze, it's gonna just show that it's frozen. For some reason, it's not filming all of it, and that's annoying, because I have noticed that it's freezing a lot of times throughout. So I'm sorry that this video probably has a lot of joltiness to it, but you know, it's mostly about my voice, so that's what's important. 160, Planet of the Dead. 159, The Curse of the Black Spot. 158, Asylum of the Daleks. That's the first one with Jenna Coleman. Not as Clara. She is best, in my opinion, as Oswin. And Oswin should have been the companion, because it's not as annoying to watch. But, you know, she wasn't. She was not. 157, The Husbands of River Song. I watched this one not on broadcast. I watched it a few days afterwards, because last Christmas had put me off watching Christmas Doctor Who. I didn't care then. Yeah, I don't think I watched last Christmas, actually. Oh, no, it was Time of the Doctor put me off watching Christmas Doctor Who, yeah. I watched that one on broadcast, and I was like, oh, I don't need to watch the next one on broadcast. Anyway, Husbands of River Song, I watched, after it was broadcast, I watched that on the day that David Bowie died. So whichever day that was, is the day that I watched The Husbands of River Song. And I liked it. I thought that was better than the fact that David Bowie died, personally. 156, The Runaway Bride. 155, The Caves of Androzani. I'm not a huge Androzani fan. I find it a little bit dull, and I'm not huge on every cliffhanger being the Doctor about to regenerate. I get that it was to build views, and it was probably never really to be watched more than once, ever. So I guess with that in mind, it doesn't matter. But as it can be watched now, it grates on me. Or not grates on me, that is a bit much, but it is not. It's not enjoyable for me. I don't really get why everyone goes on about that one so much. I'm not a huge. If you're happy to explain to me why the Caves of Androzani is one that is worth reappraising, then feel free, and I'll read what you say, and then I guess what I think of what you say will depend on what you have said. So I can't predict that. 154, the Moon Base. 153, Gridlock. 152, the Invasion of Time. 151, the Rescue. 150, the Sea Devils. 149, Smith and Jones. 148, Destiny of the Daleks. 147, Meglos. 146, The End of Time. I feel like I should say something about it, but I don't actually have anything to say. It's good enough. 145, The Trial of a Time Lord. Colin's last, and there's not a lot more to say about it than that. I mean, it is very long. It's just that I feel like probably if I wanted to get started on it, I could, but I don't want to, and I actually don't know if I could. The Impossible Astronaut / the Satan Pit is 144. 143, Revelation of the Daleks. 142, Full Circle. That's where the E-Space Trilogy is. I can't remember if I was leaving that in or cut it out, but I wasn't sure. No, I was cutting it out, never mind. 141, Attack of the Cybermen. 140, The Sunmakers. 139, Amy's Choice. 138, The Sontaran Experiment. 137, The Daleks. 136, Day of the Daleks. 135, The Creature from the Pit. 134, Planet of the Daleks. 133, Rose. It's a great way to open the series up again. I think it was just supposed to get people on board, and it did. That, for me anyway, it was my first Doctor Who, and here I am now with a Comedy Bang Bang t-shirt on and everything. 132, The Invasion. 131, The Dominators. This and Inferno were the first DVDs that I had myself. My brother had loads of DVDs, so I was watching it all the time, his DVDs, but when he moved out, I had The Dominators and I had Inferno to watch, and so I have watched Dominators a lot, and I understand that a lot of people don't really like it very much. I love it. It's 131, but it is one of my favourites. It would be my comfort watch Doctor Who. It's just a nice little, humbling. It's times when I could only watch The Dominators, and that was it. 130, The Time Meddler. That's a good one. I got that for my friend Alex for his birthday one year, and I don't know if he watched that. We didn't talk about it. I'm sure he has watched it now, but we didn't talk about it, and I don't consider I would have bought that for him if I didn't intend to talk about it. So Alex, we should have talked about that, but it's too late now. 129, The Aztecs. I really like The Aztecs. My brother and I did a thing where we pick Doctor Who's to watch and take it in turns, I think. I actually can't remember, or it was pick it out of a hat. But I'd never seen The Aztecs before. This was in like 2011 or 12. And I loved it, and I still do. I think it's a great one. I don't know why. I always have thought it would be nice to have a sequel to The Aztecs with Colin Baker, and it's the Daleks in the Aztec city. I don't know why. That obviously sounds awful, but (128) The Highlanders. 127, Kablam. 126, Kill the Moon. 125, The Macra Terror. 124, The Armageddon Factor. 123, The Leisure Hive. 122, The Evil of the Daleks. 121, Survival. That's the last ever classic Doctor Who, and I don't love it. 120, The Woman Who Fell to Earth. I feel like I've spoken about this one, but maybe it's just because I spoke about Series 11. Yeah, it is, because, yeah. Okay, cool, I haven't. Yeah, this one I still feel like I have spoken about. Have I put this on the list twice? I don't know. Maybe I have. 120, The Woman Who Fell to Earth. I didn't like it the first 2 or 3 times I watched it, which I know is too many to watch something that you don't like. I'm just trying to say what I think I said before. I am fairly sure I've said this all before, so I'll skip it. 119 Snake Dance is equal to Kinder. Kinder hasn't come up yet, as you may well have noticed. Snake Dance is good. It's got Martin Clunes in it. It's good, but it's not as good as Kinder. Spoiler alert. 118, The Sontaran Stratagem / The Poison Sky. 117, The 10th Planet. It's the first ever regeneration in that one. Isn't that crazy? 116, Frontier in Space. 115, Frontios. 114, The Five Doctors. Another time where the multi-doctor thing doesn't really work for me. It's fine, but it's a bit overstuffed for me. I like the doctors in it. They're all good, but, you know, it's not like, if you know, there's a difference between wanting to watch someone and wanting to watch something, you know. 113, A Town Called Mercy. 112, Cold War. 111, School Reunion. That's where Sarah Jane comes back. I, again, preferred it to what I thought I would think of it, but I am still yet to break through on that one, with it being amazing. Maybe not a lot of people think it's amazing, but I know a lot of people do like it. I know that my friend Joe likes that one a lot, and it still isn't doing a lot for me. The Two Doctors, it's good, but I just wish there was more Pat. You know, I just wish there was more. And Colin is amazing, but I just wish there was more Pat. 109, The End of the World. 108, The Girl in the Fireplace. That was a questionable one. It is a good story, but at what cost? Because it is also a story about a grown man meeting a child, or a grown alien meeting a child, but a grown anyway. A grown-up meeting a child, and becoming that child's crush, and then becoming that child's boyfriend when she grows old enough, but he hasn't aged, and that's very bad. I don't even want to explain why that's bad, because I can't be bothered, and also you should hopefully be able to piece it together, and if you can't piece it together, then to be honest with you, good for you, because it's not quite nice. 107, Rise of the Cybermen / Age of Steel. 106, The 11th Hour. 105, Spyfall. 104, The War Machines. It's a good one. I always wanted to write a sequel to it, where Dodo, where the Wotan is back, and Dodo it is now what the Wotan are using as their connection or whatever, and to talk through Dodo, and basically the Doctor and she meet, and she's like, oh, what, you really believe that I just went and lived with family? Because it always seemed a bit weird. I know it seems weird to a lot of people, but it always seemed a bit weird to me that the Doctor's just like, oh, okay, cool, she's not here anymore. So I thought it'd be good if... And she's possessed by the Wotan in the story, so it makes sense a little bit to me. I don't know. Maybe I've given away something that's good, or maybe I'll never write it anyway. 103, The Daemons. 102, Aliens of London / World War 3. 101, The Pilot. And 100, The Time Warrior. That seems very low for The Time Warrior. But it's where I've put it. I think 100's it. Oh, I've been sat here for an hour and a half now, by the way, and I'm only up to 100. That's so silly. I didn't expect that at all. Anyway, I got up to 100 last time. That was The Time Warrior. It's the first one with Sarah Jane. I don't think I mentioned that in the video. I don't think I really went into a lot of detail over that, except for that it was too low. Yeah, it's the first one with Sarah Jane. 100 is too low for that, but there it is. Anyway, I also feel like 101 is too low for the pilot, so maybe we're just in that territory where the numbers actually are reflective, and I don't know, possibly or possibly not. Who cares? 99, The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. 98, The Dalek Invasion of Earth. 97, Planet of the Spiders. That's John Pertwee's last one. I really enjoy that one. It's got that car chase, or the chase scene, or not scene, the chase episode, I suppose, which is silly. But, you know, John wanted that. John would have loved that. John did love that, I'm sure. So time for us to grow up a little bit and just take a step back. I'm sure I've said things that imply that that isn't my stance previously in videos, but as I also said previously when I said something that possibly was contradictory, I am a new man right now than I was then. 95, The Seeds of Doom. 94, Marco Polo. 93, The Crotons. 92, Into the Dalek. 91, The Hungry Earth / Cold Blood. 90, Remembrance of the Daleks. When I first watched this one, probably in like 2010 or so, I absolutely loved it. I still do love it, really. But there was nothing quite like that first viewing. I didn't expect to enjoy it anywhere near as much as I did enjoy it. And yeah, I was very glad for that. And then this time when I watched it, I still really enjoyed it. But it doesn't have that same spark. But whatever does after the first viewing, you know, that's nothing on that. That's nothing I could possibly blame the episode for. 89, Terror of the Autons. 88, The Mutants. 87, The Monster of Peladon. 86, The Stones of Blood. 85, The Abominable Snowmen. That was the first reconstruction that I watched. The first loose cannon reconstruction that I watched. Well, no, it wasn't actually. The Highlanders was years and years ago, but it was the first one that I watched recently in like 2019 before I started doing this marathon, and I absolutely loved it. I can't wait for the animation to come out, and then I can listen to the secrets of Detsen again. 84, The Android Invasion. 83, The Face of Evil. 82, It Takes You Away. 81, Robot. 80, Battlefield. 79, The Christmas Invasion. 78, Flatline. 77, Flux. I think it was actually good. I watched it, as in quite good. I think it's quite good. I watched it again with my friends Naz and Alex, and we watched all of the 6 episodes in one, and I really liked it. I think all of us enjoyed it. I don't want to speak for them, but I believe that not one of us had any problem with it. I mean, well, maybe problems with it, like improvements possibly, because we're so smart. But yeah, I think that I don't know if it gets bad criticism. I think that it does though, but that might just be me wanting to feel like a victim. Somehow that would translate to me feeling like a victim. I'm not really sure how. But anyway, 76, Partners in Crime. 75, I don't think I finished that sentence, by the way. In case I actually didn't and you're like, why is he just continuing? I don't think I finished that. I just am going forward because I can't remember what I was saying with it. But if I did finish it, then that's good. 76, Partners in Crime. 75, A Christmas Carol. 74, The Pandorica Opens / The Big Bang. 73, Utopia, The Sound of Drums, and The Last of the Time Lords. If you'd have asked me probably 3 years ago what I thought of this when I hadn't watched it for a long time, I'd have said rubbish. But it is 73, which is a very good score, I would say, or ranking. And yeah, I really enjoy it, actually, though. It went from rubbish to pretty bloomin' good. 72, Terror of the Zygons. 71, The Robots of Death. 70, Castrovalva. 69, Extremis, The Pyramid at the End of the World, and Lie of the Land. See, I told you I was grouping them all together, and I quite like that trilogy myself. I think that it's quite a nice one. I really enjoy Series 10. And in my head, it was this series that was really good, except in the middle of it, it had this bit rubbishy 3-parter that's a bit of a tough one to get through. And then when I got to Series 10 in my watch through this time, I was like, oh, I forgot to watch the Monk trilogy, great. And then I had a great time, actually. 68, Boomtown. I guess I didn't have as good time as I did with Boomtown, but I'm not surprised by that because Boomtown is great, and I am preempting, or I am predicting rather, that if anybody watches this video, they're not going to be a fan of that 68 is where Boomtown gets. And I'm assuming that that's the case. But if it is the case, then grow up, watch it again. 67, Power of the Daleks. That's my Boxing Day Doctor Who. I really like that one. It's very nice to watch on Boxing Day, which that might have been the first reconstruction that I watched, I think it was. It wasn't Highlanders. I think it was Power of the Daleks. 66, The Ark in Space. 65, The Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone. 64, Earthshock. 63, Resurrection of the Daleks. 62, Voyage of the Damned. 61, Time Heist. 60, Kinder. See, I told you. Told you that was coming up, didn't I? You didn't believe me, but there it is. It's right there. Right in grey and white is what that is like. Kinder is a very good one, in my opinion. I'm personally, as I have said, not a huge fan of that era. So I was quite surprised by Kinder. I know it's early on in the Fifth Doctor's run, so probably a bit early to feel disgruntled or whatever I was feeling. But Kinder was a nice little pick-me-up. 59, Dark Water / Death in Heaven. It's a good one, but it has bad bits, like Permission to Squee. Permission to Squee. I think that's plenty. 58, Face the Raven. 57, The Curse of Peladon. 56, The Web of Fear. 55, The Hand of Fear. 54, Blink. Only feel like I should say something about Blink, not that I want to, but it's good. 53, The Witchfinders. 52, Resolution. 51, Eve of the Daleks. The most recent New Year's Day special. And very good. Aisling Bea was great in that one. Alex and Naz and I watched that one after Flux, and we all had a great time with that still. A little bit easier because it's one episode for the story rather than 6. So, 50, Mummy on the Orient Express. Perkins Should Have Been a Companion. 49, Can You Hear Me? 48, The Fires of Pompeii. 47, Doctor Who and the Silurians. That is my... I don't remember saying the Sea Devils, but I've said a lot of things, so maybe I did at some point. But Doctor Who and the Silurians is my favourite Silurian Sea Devil episode or story. It's a really great story. And then every other Sea Lion? Every other Sea Devil or Silurian story after that is the same story. Cool. 46, The Happiness Patrol. 45, Planet of the Ood. 44, The Rebel Flesh and the Almost People. I only feel like I have to justify that one. I'm not going to say too much, but I feel like I have to justify it, and my justification is just saying that I have to justify it. 43, The God Complex. 42, The Girl Who Waited. 41, Thin Ice. 40, The Three Doctors. This one does not suffer from the multi-doctor kind of being overstuffed thing. I don't think personally, because I think that Pat Troughton and John Pertwee are great together, and I think that whilst it would have been nice if Bill Hartnell could have been in it properly, like he had said, and that makes it sound like I'm saying that he was at fault for not being in it. He shouldn't have said that. Was, if there was any fault, he shouldn't have agreed to go in it because he wasn't well enough. But anyway, it doesn't matter because I don't actually have an opinion either way on what he should or shouldn't have done, but it would have been nice if he were in it more. But also, I think it does sort of benefit from the fact that he's not in it as much as he could have been or was originally going to be. 39, The Green Death. 38, The Mind Robber. It's a great one. It's a great one. Watch that one. If you don't watch any other one that I've mentioned so far, not that I'm going to mention because I can't, but if you don't watch any other Doctor Who that I have mentioned so far, watch The Mind Robber. Number 37, Carnival of Monsters. 36, Vengeance on Varos. 35, Vincent and the Doctor. 34, The Impossible Astronaut / Day of the Moon. 33, The Haunting of Villa Diodati. 32, Empress of Mars. 31, Under the Lake Before the Flood. This one, Under the Lake anyway, is, I think, or at the time anyway, maybe not now, I don't know, I haven't really thought about it since like a couple of months after it came out. I thought at the time that it was the best Doctor Who episode of the new series, just because it was very, very Doctor Who. It was based under sea, and by that I just think I mean it seemed a little bit kind of, I could imagine the second Doctor doing it, and that's all I really want from Doctor Who, I guess. If the second or the third Doctor can do it, then that is a Doctor Who episode. If those two can't do it, then I hate you. 30, The Empty Child / The Doctor Dances. It's so national pride. It's horrible. It's so awful how national pride that is. If you love Britain, then you will love The Empty Child / The Doctor Dances. But if you have sense, then you might possibly not like it quite so much. But it is still 30 on my list, so I guess maybe I'm problem boy. I can dish it out, but it doesn't matter for me. Maybe now that I've said that, that makes it sound like it's not even a joke anymore. Because it's not really funny. 29, Revolution of the Daleks. 28, City of Death. 28, City of Death. 27, The Talons of Weng-Chiang. It's another one like The Empty Child and The Doctor Dances that is a good episode, but it has a lot of problems. Namely, the one, the one that everyone mentions, the one that you wouldn't have thought, even for the 70s, they'd have thought they could get away with, but they decided to try anyway. And do you know what? It did not work out for them. In my opinion, it didn't work out for them, because I think that the big rat in the sewer system is just atrocious looking. I'm really sorry about that joke. I just thought it was funny. The problem with Talons of Weng-Chiang actually is that it's horribly racist. 26, Genesis of the Daleks. It's a great one. 27, Talons of Weng-Chiang. Let's talk about that one again. 25, The Daleks Master Plan. This is a really great one. I hope that it gets found, if not animated, within my lifetime. And I could die before even editing this video, so you'd better hurry up. 24, Spearhead from Space. I used to call this Sparehead from Space when I was little because I thought that's how it was written. And not as in I was spelling it wrong, I just thought that's how you'd pronounce that, Sparehead from Space. Don't know how I came to that conclusion, but that is what I came to. That one I'm going to show to my other friend Alex. She hasn't watched Doctor Who before, and she said she's willing to watch a classic Doctor Who as her first one, and I thought about it for a long time, and I thought, you know what would be the best one to watch? It would be Sparehead from Space. 23, World Enough and Time and The Doctor Falls. 22, The Ambassadors of Death. It's a really great one. I'd only seen it the one time before doing this, and I absolutely loved it. And I watched it this time. And the time before I did like it, but this time I loved it even more. And the anti-thief, whatever it is, I can't remember what it's called, but whatever the button on Bessie is great, and it feels like a Batman reference, and so that's what I have always assumed that it is since I decided that. 21, Turn Left. 20, Rosa. 20, Rosa. 19, Oxygen. 18, The Doctor's Wife. It's such a shame, Nightmare in Silver, It just makes it a little bit worse that The Doctor's Wife is so good. 17, Demons of the Punjab. I really, really like this episode. 16, Pyramids of Mars. 15, The Waters of Mars. That's funny that those two are together. 14, The Tomb of the Cybermen. 13, Human Nature / The Family of Blood. It's a great one. We are really in top tier territory right now. We are close to the top 10. 12, The Enemy of the World. 11, Bad Wolf / The Parting of the Ways. Okay, top 10 now. 10, The Faceless Ones. I hadn't seen it before doing this marathon, and I absolutely loved it. I've seen it twice now. the animated one both times, and that, yeah, it's a great one. That one, yeah, watch that one. Watch that one. 9 Father's Day, again, incredible. It doesn't matter that, you know, these things don't come up again, like the Reapers. Who cares? Because it's good in the episode. And, you know, if you're watching Doctor Who for continuity, unless I have said something, again, that is contradictory to what I am just now saying about the continuity, maybe I have moaned about the continuity previously in this same video, in which case, as I would like to once again reiterate, new man. 8. Silence in the Library / Forest of the Dead. I didn't expect to not like it. I expected it to be probably in the 20s. Definitely I didn't expect it in the top 10. But I loved it, and I was crying, as I said, with getting emotional recently. I was crying so much with that one. I absolutely loved it. 7. Fugitive of the Jadoon. I really, I think I did a video about that, actually. Yeah, I have already done a video about that. I really like it, so I don't really need to say anything more. 6. The Brain of Morbius. That one, again, I just feel like I'm saying I really like it a lot, but I do. The Brain of Morbius, you know. Yeah, it's a great one, and it sets up, I guess, the Timeless Children, so that's good for Chibnall. But if anything, it just kind of gives you, like, a nice bit of ammunition for anyone who's like, well, William Hartnell was the first Doctor. No one's changing time. No one's changing anything. William Hartnell was the first Doctor, because that's how time works. But who cares what happened before we were bloody watching even the show? It just grow up. It's a TV show. I'm sorry that I got angry, but grow up. 5. Midnight. This is excellent. I, again, with the over-emotional thing recently, I cried at this, but not because I was like, oh, that's sad. I cried at this because I thought David Tennant was acting really well. It was the bit where he's about to get thrown off the bus, and yeah, his acting in that, I just found myself crying, and I was like, why am I doing this? And that's the only thing that could have been the reason, and it's crazy. 4. Dalek with the Ninth Doctor. I feel like have I mentioned the Ninth Doctor at all? Because it seems crazy not to. But Christopher Eccleston is the king, in my opinion. I could say that about Colin Baker as well, and John Pertwee and Patrick Troughton. But Christopher Eccleston, and maybe Peter Capaldi, but Christopher Eccleston is the king. He is the Doctor Who made me like Doctor Who, and I like seeing his posts because I think that our politics align somewhat, and that's quite nice. But he is also an old man, so maybe that's a problem if my politics are aligning with an old white man, but that's a joke, because I think that he's sound. He seems like he's a good chap. Number 3, The Deadly Assassin. It's a really good political intrigue. The Doctor. That's enough. 2, Inferno. Inferno. Oh, Inferno is so good. As I mentioned previously, it was one with the Dominators. It was the other one that I had on DVD, and I watched that so much. I remember the day that Inferno came out on DVD even. I think that was 2006. Maybe I don't remember the year, but I think it was 2006. Remember it turning up in the post. My brother had got it, and we watched it, and I never looked back. Not that I ever have with any Doctor Who, I suppose, but Inferno was really a massive, massive one, and still is. For me, yeah, that's great. That was a weird noise. It's a really great one. 1. What's my number 1 after all that? After all of that, what could be my number 1? Well, there's only one option left now. You can have a guess. I feel it's safe to assume that if this one had come up at any other point in the list, I'd have spoken about it because it's quite a special one, outside of the fact that it's the best one. It's the War Games. It's the first ever one with the TARDIS, with the Time Lords. It's Patrick Troughton's last one. It's 10 parts, but it feels like one. It's 4 hours, and there's not a quicker 4 hours you could have. I've seen some people saying that it's too long, and saying things like that they can't watch it because it's too long or something like that. But it looks long, and it is. I guess on paper it is long, but you're not gonna feel that. You're not gonna feel that. I watched it with my friend Joe, and I was worried that he wasn't going to like it. I show him Doctor Who every so often. He never used to be a big fan of Doctor Who. He likes it a lot more now because I've shown him a lot, and he said that the War Games was his favourite classic Doctor Who that he'd seen, and I've shown him a lot at this point, and that was very special to me. That's my Doctor Who ranking, and I hope that you've enjoyed watching these two, I suppose, videos. I haven't not enjoyed making them. I was going to say I haven't enjoyed making them, but I haven't not enjoyed making them, because it gave me something to do for the last 2 hours. So that's nice. I hope that you know that if you had switched off before this point, that's absolutely fine. And in fact, I'm just kind of wasting your time right now, and you probably should have switched off before this point, but you didn't, and so now here we are, and yeah, I'm just kind of wasting yours and my time because I don't really want to finish this because then I have to do something else, and I don't really have anything else to do. I kind of thought this would take longer. I didn't think it would take 2 hours, but in my head it would take the whole day. And so now I have to find something to do other than waste your time and my time. But I suppose I could edit it, but that means watching it again. I don't know. I guess that's my problem really, and not yours. Not yours. Yeah, okay. See you later. I was really excited to watch series 2 because I was really excited to watch series 2 because I was like, you know, I was really excited to watch series 2 because you know, what? Oh, I probably should close out somehow. Bye.